Hello, everybody, and welcome to Starting Small Music. I'm Justin McCormick, and you're about to hear a conversation with an artist, musician, and music industry professional on their journey and how they got to where they are today. At Starting Small, we like to take you on a journey uncovering the untold stories of your favorite songs and artists. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Just keep a smile on your face and it'll be okay. Try not to be bitter, you gotta do it either way. Keep a smile on your face and it'll be okay. So when life throws a jab, you gotta duck out of the way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Starting Small Music Podcast. Today we have touring bassist Spencer Bradley with us. How you doing today, Spencer?
We're doing pretty good, man. Tired, but hanging in.
That's good, man. Glad to have you on the show. So,
Yeah,
getting
thanks
right
for
your
having me.
story, you grew up in Hot Springs, Arkansas, right? What was your childhood like?
Yeah. It's different than others, I'd say. I started playing music when I was 5 years old with the Irish tin whistle, and grew up playing weird instruments. And I was actually a competitive Irish dancer for 8 years of my life,
No way.
and that kind of influenced my just the trying different, music stuff. And I played flute in band. I was in a small town in Arkansas, Hot Springs, and I was the only guy flute player in my school, and graduated high school playing flute, then went to college at University of Arkansas Razorbacks, and was the only guy piccolo player in the school in the last 20 years or whatever. But we grew up playing music, me and my older brother and my twin brother at church. Kind of got started in worship band, and I was like, what instrument can I pick that's completely different than a flute? And I saw a buddy play the bass guitar, and I was like, that sounds like fun. That's cool. So I picked up the bass, and we're all self-taught guitar players, and started touring the southeast country, part of the country with my brothers in college, and then dropped out of school. And my older brother and I moved here 7 years ago, I think, and been doing it ever since.
So, before you even picked up the flute or the bass, what kind of music was being played around the house that kind of made you feel a connection to music early on?
Oh, so my parents aren't really that musical. My dad played guitar for a little bit, and then he he loved all sorts of genres. My mom got us really young into John Denver, was like the only artist she would listen to over like our CD players and the radio in the house.
Yeah,
But my first cousin gave me my first rock CD, and she gave me the Shout of the Devil Motley Crue CD when I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old, and I
heck
had
yeah.
no idea what it was. And that influenced a lot of the music me and my brother listened to. Went into the classic rock, 80s rock. We loved the whole Sunset Boulevard, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Poison, all that stuff. But then I have a wide range of music because my grandma had her record player playing Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and Nat King Cole and all that. No country was being played, ironically enough. And I play country music now full time.
That's funny.
So yeah.
Now, being in Arkansas, was there a lot of like opportunities to play like outside of church when you and your brother were trying to pick up gigs early on, or how did you guys go about that?
Um, there really wasn't in Hot Springs. You'd have to go to Little Rock or Fayetteville to get like the big, music scenes, I guess. And Little Rock is a really hard scene to get into and actually like excel in. Um, my mom actually booked me and my brothers for the longest time as like our booking agent, you'd say, as high schoolers. And she would just be like, hey, anywhere that will do live music, we've been set up in like the corner of a 4x4 area in like a pizza restaurant in Hot Springs, or on the lake somewhere on a dock or a porch. And she's just like, hey, they'll come in and play for free. You don't got to pay them. Let them play. I promise you, like, you won't be disappointed. And we did that for years, and it never failed. Anywhere we went, we would always play, and the crowd seemed to like it. And the managers would always come up and be like, hey, we can't let y'all leave without paying you something. Um, and so she did that for us for a long time. And then finally, I guess some word got spread around to these bars in Little Rock, in Fayetteville, and then we started playing at the bigger spots.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, not much music scene. There's a few spots in downtown Hot Springs now, but different vibe than what we play. So
Now, were you guys writing any original material at that time, or mostly covers when you guys were going out?
yeah, so Gable's the writer, my brother. I have written one song with him a few years ago, but I'm not much of a writer, honestly. He has a much better way with words. Um, but yeah, we would play a few originals. We had like a little CD that we got 500 copies of that we hand pressed our like a cover onto the actual CD, and I would do that. And we went to a little studio in Hot Springs that was owned by a friend of ours, and he let us come in there and record some stuff. And I mean, it is the worst sounding things you could possibly hear of. But we didn't know about home studios; it wasn't a thing back then. I guess like, the way it is now, and it was definitely a learning experience. But we played mostly a bunch of covers. Grew up listening and played Kip Moore covers was like our go to.
Mhm.
To kind of fit the same range of Gable's voice and Bruce Springsteen and John Cougar, that kind of stuff. The older crowd songs, they love those
For sure.
those classics.
Now, do you have any memories that stick out from your guys' early days, kind of touring around the South?
Oh God, they've all kind of run together at this point. I think the coolest memories I have just from the three of us was we've played our hometown amphitheater called Magic Springs. It's a big amusement park in Hot Springs, but they have a like a 5,000 seat amphitheater there. And I think the coolest thing was just we've played it three times now, and to see like the progression of the response we get as like the opener, but the local opener. The first time we played there was opening for a band called For King and Country, and we just did it acoustic, and it was like only probably a couple thousand people there, but just like our parents and a couple friends came for us for that show. And then the next show we played open for Martina McBride, and we had a couple almost 100 plus people there for us, I'd say, out of a sold out crowd. And this last time we played, we opened for Jordan Davis, and I think we had over 500 plus people that were there, like to come see the hometown boys. So that was like a cool progression, and that stuck with me over the last 4 or 5 years of playing in Hot Springs.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned going to school. Did you end up going to college for a while before making the move to Nashville then, or?
Yeah, I went for just my freshman semester actually. Went there for I was in the marching band at U of A Razorbacks, and I had to be there for the first fall semester to stay in the marching band. And we were playing around town in Fayetteville, and like the big spots there, like George's Majestic Lounge and JJ's and that kind of stuff. And we were doing that, and I just had a conversation, with my mom and dad at the time. I was like, "Hey, I don't want to play flute or do the marching band. Like, I want to play music, like I'm doing with Gable right now." And it was their rule. We had to do our freshman year because you never get your freshman experience back.
Mhm.
And they're the biggest supporters, and so they're like, if y'all want to do freshman year and then drop out and play music, we'll support y'all 100%. And yeah, we dropped out after our first year, and then just hit the ground running and playing music, and did the whole, I guess you call it the Broadway style of shows, where you do the whole 3 or 4 hour cover band things, and just try to like pay your dues type stuff and get experience and exposure, and moved to Nashville in 2017, I think 16. And me and Gable were like, all right, time to just do all original music. No covers, nothing like that. No cover band stuff. And we haven't had to do that. So it's been great getting like original music out.
For sure. Now, what did your first couple months look like in Nashville, kind of trying to network like on the scene when you first got to town?
Oh God. I was just talking to Gable about this yesterday, actually. Our first couple of months were insane. I had worked in Colorado for the year leading up to moving here. So I moved here with a little bit of money to help as a cushion. But I needed to get a job, and so he and I both worked at the downtown Nashville YMCA, and we were working there as membership greeters in the morning shift. So from 4:30 in the morning until about noon, we'd be working at the YMCA for $7 an hour, and then we'd go home, take a nap, and then we'd go out and try to meet people and network and go see shows and hit up Red Door in Midtown because that's where we were told everyone goes
Hmm.
to network. And I think the first 6 months to a year of living here, we were out every night until about 2 in the morning, and then going to work at 4 in the morning, and just did that cycle for a year. And I think it aged me about 5 years coming here, but those connections that we made and people we met are people like Lainey Wilson and Luke Combs band members and like friends of ours who are now blowing up, are huge. And it was just like the dedication and the going to hang out and meeting these people and putting yourself out there. And we still are friends with these people we've met, 6 years ago at those bars today.
Now, outside of Gable, who was the first touring gig that you picked up when you first got to town?
Actually, it was I believe it was a girl named Farron Rachels.
Yeah,
She she's awesome, and her bass player at the time was a buddy of ours named Rocky Block, big songwriter at Big Loud,
he's been on the
incredible
show.
bass
Good
player.
guy.
Yeah, Rocky's awesome, man. And he reached out to my brother. I guess they had seen us play at probably Bus Call, like a Tin Roof show or Whiskey Jam or something like that, and reached out to Gable, said, "Hey man, I have a gig, but I can't make it. Can I borrow your brother for it?" And he's like, "Yeah, hit him up." And he called me, and my first show outside of my brother was with Farron opening for Brantley Gilbert at a casino gig. So it was pretty surreal. And the second show was opening for Luke Combs. So I went from playing, this is like 3 years into moving to Nashville, I think, and went from playing just little bars in Nashville to opening for 70,000 people with Luke Combs.
Wow.
And then after those gigs, started getting more calls from people, and I've been doing music now full time since pretty much then, I guess.
Now, there's a couple artists you've worked with that you've actually tour managed too while on the road. Kind of talk about what goes
Yeah.
into that.
So I started a tour manager, and just kind of fell into it because I'm a pretty type A, want to be in control, bossy, like anal type of person, and I didn't even know what tour managing was. And we actually, one of my old roommates, his name's Zach Hallcroft. It works in management as well, and he was like, "Oh no, man, like what you're doing it's tour management." And I was like, "Oh, sick." So I kind of fell into it just naturally like that, and I did it with Gable, and then like the first artist I officially TM for is a guy I still play for now named Roman Alexander,
Yeah,
and I just pretty much day to day tour manage people. I've been offered some tour managing positions, but I like playing more than the whole full tour managing thing. The on the road day to day TMing stuff is more like where I want to be. But it's fun. You get to kind of be in control a little bit, and you know, I'm always the one that's like I need to have a schedule, so it's nice being the one to make the schedules.
right.
But I tour managed too, just briefly, with an artist I worked with me, and our drummer kind of co did it. He did production stuff, and I did tour management stuff. A female artist named Annie Bosco. She's blowing up right now, and so that was the other artist I've pretty much TM'd for, and it's hard, but it's fun.
For sure. Now, earlier this year, you were on the road with Ashley Cook. How was that being on the road with her?
It was fun, man. I've known her for years. Um, I've been in a music video for at one point a couple years ago for a song. Um, if you watch the whole video, you'll see my shoulder and my hat come into frame. I'm like the mysterious guy in the background, whatever it was. But yeah, I kind of helped put her band together in the beginning with my buddy Andrew, who plays drums, and got all that stuff figured out, and then she popped off, and she reached back out to me beginning of this year. She's like, "Hey, you want to come play a couple shows with me?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" And so I got to play some of her first ever, sold out headline shows, and played Tortuga Music Festival, and it was incredible. And then she just restructured some stuff, and I had some other stuff going on, and so she's out there killing it. And she great homie of ours, man.
That's awesome. Now, you also mentioned right now you're currently touring with Roman Alexander. How did that opportunity come
Yeah,
about?
man. So uh, I met Roman years and years ago. Me and Gable and my twin brother at the time, we were all playing in Arkansas, and we opened for this band called Backroad Anthem back in the day in Fayetteville. And Roman was actually the first opener, and I didn't realize it was him. And then flash forward to 2019, I think. I get a call from his manager at the time, and on a Sunday night, and she's like, "What are you doing tomorrow on Monday?" And I was like, "Nothing. What's up?" She's like, "You want to come play bass for this artist I have? His bass player can't make this show. It's opening for Billy Currington on Wednesday in Texas." And I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll give it a shot. Why not?" And went to rehearsal. Everything went great. Learned the music. Played the show that Wednesday night. He was like, "You want this gig?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, this is fun. I like you. I like your music." And I've been playing with him ever since. That's kind of how I feel like Nashville works.
How's it been? Like, I feel like, oh, especially over the past couple months, he's only been blowing up more. Has it been cool seeing the crowds
Yeah,
progressively get bigger and bigger as you play with him?
yeah, man. Actually, we were on the same Hunt tour last year. We've done big shows of him opening for people, but then like this year we did what's called the Nashville Hits the Roof tour, and it's where Tin Roof collaborates with original artists, and they put you on a circuit, and you come in and you play an hour and a half set of all original music. And I've done that with other artists in previous years, and you never know how it's going to go. But seeing Roman's, um, he's been blowing up on social media and streaming and whatnot. And we didn't know how these shows were going to go in a market he's never played. And we were out for a month, and we played, 3 nights a week, and every show in markets he's never been to had a crowd, and people were there knowing his music, singing his songs. And there was one show in Florida we did where someone was like, "Yeah, I drove 7 hours down here to come see you play because it was the closest place to my home."
Wow.
And me and him are both like, "What the hell?" Like, that's incredible to see the growth. And it's cool for me because I've been with him for so long now, where we've played to small crowds and to nobody, and then to play for 10,000, with Sam Hunt, and then to play his own shows, and he can sell now, hundreds of tickets to these venues. It's just really cool, and it's a cool experience to be a part of.
Do you have a favorite song in the set at the moment? One that just hypes you up when you see it's coming up in the set?
Honestly, our opening song, which isn't even out yet, it's a banger of a song, and it definitely gets the crowd hyped, I think. But one of my favorite ones is one. It's called "Fried Green Tomatoes." It's a very Billy Currington-esque song,
Yes.
and we just played a little festival down in Opp, Alabama last weekend because that song mentions the town, and they called him and was like, "We have to have this guy," and we headlined their festival down there, which was incredible. But yeah, that's a fun one. And then one of his that's not his, but it's one of my favorite covers to do is Mr. Brightside.
Oh, yeah.
It's just such a fun song to play, and that definitely gets the crowd going.
Now, I like to close my interviews by asking, what's a piece of advice you'd give to the younger musicians out there wanting to be in your place?
Um, I'd go back to what I said probably about making connections and just going out. It's different now, and it's funny to say because I know technology has been here forever, but in the last 6 years, it really has changed. I mean, you have the like TikTok wasn't. I never even heard of TikTok until like COVID. But so now it's different. But I would say go out and go to shows of local venues in town. Go meet these bands that are starting out, and I can't say it enough. Red Door in Midtown was the spot back then that we met everybody. But man, go out, go to don't go. I wouldn't say go to Broadway because that's not really where people go to meet people. You just go to party there. But yeah, go to these local spots in town and just if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. But personal connections and putting yourself out there is the way to do it.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment, and check out my music on all streaming platforms at Justin McCormick. See you guys next time.